Welcome to the Mac Theater Podcast. You say Brahma, we say Brahma. Brahma drama. Thanks for tuning in to the Mac Theater's podcast, Brahma Drama. For this episode, we're launching our scary, strange, and unusual story series called Who's There? Actors from the junior varsity and varsity theater classes worked hard to perform a few tales that are sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. You may think you're safe in your own neighborhood, even when the sun goes down. But as you'll learn in this next story, when it gets dark, nowhere's safe. Listen if you dare. Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Lechusa starts now.
Look to your left, to your right. Look under and over, but never look up. She hates being seen.
Growing up, my family was super close, and every Friday, my tios, and cousins would all come over to our house, and the adults would stay inside. They would have a big old party, eating, drinking, laughing, dancing together, and all of us kids, we had to stay outside, away from the adults, so we didn't get into any of their business. And one of our favorite pastimes was to play hide and seek. So one day when I was about 10 years old, my cousins and I, we were outside playing tag as always, and I was forced to be the seeker. And I hated being the seeker because there were so many different places to hide in my front and backyard, and I was just so bad at finding people. I was a good hider, but a terrible seeker. And this one night, I remember very vividly, it was very dark outside. It was probably about 9 o'clock in the evening, and because we live in Texas, it was very, very humid and hot outside. So while I was seeking, I had sweat pooling up on my upper lip, and I was just kind of miserable, but of course, I didn't really notice it because I was 10 and I was having fun. And so, I was running around, come out, wherever you are, and I'd found a few of my cousins, but not all of them yet. And all of a sudden, the atmosphere around me just kind of changed. And I felt a cool breeze kind of float over me, but it wasn't a nice, cool breeze. It was sickly, and it made my stomach churn, and I was so uncomfortable. I was like peeling my shirt away from my skin, and inside my gut, I just knew that something was wrong. And my cousins must have felt this too. Even though they were in fully enclosed structures, they felt this uncomfortable breeze pass over them as well. And they all got up out of their hiding spots, and we looked at each other, and we all convened in the front yard, asking each other, like, what's wrong? It's different. I feel weird. And all of a sudden, as we're talking, the street lamp on the corner of my house just completely went out. And that was when we knew that something for sure was wrong. And we were freaking out. We huddled real close together. We were holding hands. I was shivering a little bit. And I look up at the street lamp, and I see this huge winged owl standing on top. And it wasn't a normal-sized owl. It was a woman-sized owl with a face. And I screamed bloody murder, and all of my cousins, we ran inside and we begged our parents. We said, please let us inside. Lechusa's outside. Lechusa's outside. Please, please. And of course, we were little and they didn't believe us. And so they said, no, go back outside. You're joking. Go, go, go. And we didn't dare disobey our parents. So reluctantly, we went back out. And as we continued our game, I just knew that somewhere Lechusa was still watching us.
She learned the hard way that even just outside of your home, even if you're with lots of your friends and family, the darkness is always on the prowl and will always try to get you. They say you should go to bed earlier to get a good night's sleep, but maybe there's a more sinister reason. Amelia's next story will make you wonder if it's better not to know what happens when your eyes are closed. Listen if you dare. Who's there? Amelia's ghost story starts now.
Have you ever gotten that eerie feeling that something is watching you? Or lurking around you in the shadows and you can't see them, waiting just to mess with you? The fear that maybe you're not actually alone. Well, for Amelia, that was more than just a feeling. It was her cold reality on one very scary night.
Okay, so this is like my own personal ghost story. So one night I was up really late at night because I had a choir exam, so I was studying and it was like 2 a.m. So I finally get ready for bed and I get in bed and I'm all ready and I was laying there for like a minute and then I start hearing this pounding at the door, like bang, bang, bang. It was probably like a good 30 seconds it went on for. So I was getting really freaked out and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go tell my dad. So then I walk down the hall and I hear this loud shh from the other side of the house. And I was like, oh, it's my mom telling me to be quiet. So mom's awake, I'm gonna go tell dad. So I go to my dad and I wake him up and I say, Dad, did you hear all that pounding on the door? And he was like, no, I didn't hear anything. And I was like, okay, there's definitely somebody at the door and mom's awake too and she heard it, so can you go check on her? And he was like, yeah. So he walks over and he leaves me on the other side of the house by myself. So then I just start to feel, it feels really eerie and alive for like 2 a.m. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, I'm just really awake, I guess, because I'm really freaked out. So I walk over to the other side of the house, and my dad tells me, your mom's not awake. And I was like, oh, I swear I heard shushing. Like, somebody definitely shushed me. And then we realized that the washing machine was on. And also the garage light outside was on, and my dad always remembers to turn those appliances off. So who turned those appliances on? Because it definitely wasn't my mom, and it definitely wasn't me. And I swear I heard shushing too, and some pounding on the door. So then he goes back to bed, and I couldn't sleep the rest of that night. I was too freaked out. I swear that I heard somebody shushing me. Somebody shushed me, and I don't know who it was or what it was, but I don't know. The house just felt really creepy then.
Even inside, there's a lot of places where people or things can hide. Always look behind you. Thanks for tuning in to the Brahma Drama podcast. We hope you enjoyed one of our first episodes in our series titled Who's There? Delivering all things spooky, strange, and unusual. Shout out to the junior varsity and varsity students that created our first story, Lechusa by Reyna and Zamara. Our second story was created by Amelia and Trinity. This episode was produced by 5th period's technicians Riley and Wyatt. Thank you to our MacArthur High School administration and NEISD for their listener support. And a big shout out to all of our listeners. We can't do this without you. Did you like what you heard? Help us out. Tell the people about what we're doing by following us on Instagram at Mac Theater for more podcast episode releases. That's at MACTHEATRE. As always, you say Brahma, we say Brahma. Go Brahma Drama. Thanks again for tuning in to the At Mac Theater podcast Brahma Drama. This has been your favorite technician host, Riley Patterson. Remember, even during the 2020 pandemic,
We're in this together. We are Mac. Brahma Drama out.